This is Chris at bestbrokers.com taking a look at TradingView. TradingView is an online platform that requires no download. The TradingView.com website is the actual software, if you will. It's on the cloud, and therefore a lot of traders like to use it in mobile applications. So, for example, if you're on vacation, you can pull out the laptop, you have TradingView in front of you. But a lot of traders actually will use it for all of their analysis, anyways. So, you can see on the front page, it says get started for free. There is an explainer video. This shows you like all of the different types of charting that's possible on tradingview.com. It's extraordinarily flexible. However, it is worth noting that it comes down to how much you're willing to pay. For free, you get one chart at a time. You do get live data for most common markets, and you get the ability to put limited indicators on your chart. Most brokers will give you something equivalent to the second tier, which allows you to put a couple more indicators on your chart and look at a couple charts at the same time, place trades from the platform, etc. But a lot of traders really just use this for free for their analysis. You can see that there is a dome. This happens to be attached to a paper trading account, but the depth of market you can put it in order and it'll fill that order directly, and you can see just how quite frankly amazing these charts can be. You can also see that there's a screener, so you can do it by percent change, volume, EPS, growth, dividend yield, sector, etc., market cap. You can also change the markets. That's one of the things about TradingView that is just off the rails. It offers an enormous amount of markets out there. You can also analyze like the financials for most assets. Again, this is going to be a higher tier. And then you have the ability to look through trade ideas, a community chat type of thing with videos and stuff. And then there is the actual chat channels. You can see that they have plenty of reviews. They've been around since the online kind of cloud computing revolution started, and have done nothing but grow. You can click explore features, and it's worth noting that since it's not downloadable, you can use a web app, a desktop app, tablet, and mobile. Um, so you can see what it looks like on all these different things. Now, that being said, a lot of it's going to come down to what you need. Most traders will be okay with one of the lower levels, possibly even free if you perhaps do your analysis here and input on a MetaTrader 5 platform or whatever. That does have bar replay, so that's pretty interesting where you can analyze the market and say, okay, I would have done this, or this candle formed here, so I should do this. You have alerts like you would with any other platform. And you can see, like I said, there's a massive amount of analysis, probably a bit more than most traders would use. It does have its own language. So, like the MetaTrader platforms, you can create your own indicators and program them. Well, you can do that in TradingView as well. It's an object-oriented program language that, quite frankly, looks like most others. So if you have any programming knowledge whatsoever, that ends up being a pretty smooth transition, as it were. The markets that this covers, I really can't stress enough just how over the top it is. Stock markets around the world. You can see that, you can choose your broker. And there are a lot of brokers who are attached to this. So if you choose to trade For example, at forex.com, you can open up an account and it will give you free access to actually trading on this platform. Same with Oanda, Interactive Brokers, Tasty FX, etc. So you can go to the products tab and you can uh, go to calendars first. Go to economic calendars. You can see it pulls up this calendar. I happen to be recording on the weekend, so there's really nothing going on of note. But as I go into the following week, you can see it gives you a rundown of everything that's going on, some of which are going to be important, some of which are going to be things that most retail traders don't pay attention to, but maybe should. For example, like French bond auctions, that does have an influence on the euro, and most certainly the CAC Courant in Paris. Let's go ahead and go to the super charts. And you can see this is what they look like when you open up initially. Uh, let's go ahead and change markets. So let's just go to the euro dollar. You can see there's a whole litany of brokers that you can choose from. Um, and you can see that there's news involved. There is a watch list. You can adapt the watch list to whatever you need. You can get rid of them by pressing this trash can. You can change them. And when you click on them, you can see that it changed over to dollar yen. These are robust charts to say the least. And in fact, they're probably one of the best charting packages out there. You can right click and go to settings and you can change the colors. So I will change the borders to black and the wicks to black, and then red and blue candles. And you can see it's completely changed the look of the chart. Something else that's kind of neat is the canvas. You can go to the background and you can go to gradient. And now you have the ability to change the gradient of the background, and you can see the chart looks beautiful. I mean, there's really no ifs, ands, or buts. TradingView is by far one of the most beautiful charting packages out there. You can click up here to the symbol search, and you'll see that there are a massive amount of assets you can trade. So you could even go into the 10-year bond yields, or even the Japanese 10-year bond yields, and you can get an idea of what's going on there. Again, this is not something that a lot of retail traders pay attention to at their own peril. So I do have a paid account, and I'll switch over to that to show you a few more features. So the first thing you'll notice is, well, number one, it's a new chart, but there are ways to change your light and dark mode. You can click on the dark theme, light theme. So we go to the light theme again. You pull down from your avatar, dark theme. There you go. This is your watch list. You can, in news and everything else, if you don't want it there, you get rid of it. I happen to have Bitcoin on at the moment, but if I right click and I remove the drawings, which in this case are horizontal lines, you can see that that's gone. But this is something that I think is interesting. You can leave the EMA on the chart, for example, that I have, and you can just click hide over here. If you wish to put a new indicator, you can just pull the indicator thing down. I have some favorites saved, or you can click on the button and you can search, and there's hundreds of indicators. So You can do 24-hour volume. And looks like I clicked that twice, but this gives you the idea of volume over the last 24 hours, whether or not it's picking up or dropping. It's just a random indicator. There is the actual volume, which I have brought back into the chart, but let me hide it again. I want to show you the neatest thing about their charts. You can click the plus, and let's say we want to compare Bitcoin with gold. Same price and scale, new price scale, new pane. So you can do a new pane, and you'll see that you can drag these so that they're even, and you can see that they're, until recently, been running somewhat similar overall. So there is a correlation there. That might be something that you want to pay attention to. Let's do same percent scale. Okay, so what this tells you is since August of 2023, gold has rallied 37%, but Bitcoin has rallied 225%, far outperforming, although they are somewhat correlated. So let's unclick that and it'll make it disappear. Let's do new pane. Yeah, new pane. And then you can see we go back to this. There are other things that you can do with it, and you can get pretty interesting results. So, like a new price scale. Well, this is how the 10-year in the United States behaves according to in relation to Bitcoin. You'll find using this is kind of an interesting trick because sometimes you'll see that there are correlations that come and go. And that, of course, is something that can give you an idea as to where to trade. So, again, you can right click and go on settings, and you can click on the symbol and change all of these colors here. You can change the scales and lines. You can click buy and sell buttons, and then they're just straightforward here, kind of like the MetaTrader 4 platform. If you just go up there and click, you can show your positions or not, etc. This has orders click, so it will tell you where your stop loss is, where your take profit is, where you entered, etc. You'll notice down here there are flags, and in this case they're basically US flags, and it's telling you all of the announcements coming up in the short term and what they're forecasted. So that's good for fundamental analysis. You'll notice that you can drag, expand, whatever, the scale here. Now, I would direct your attention over here to these tools. These tools are amazing. You can see you've got a trend line. You just click, drag, let go, click again. You grab it. You can change it. You can add text if you want. So I could go trend line and just put it there. And voila. Click again to make it active with the bubbles. Hit the garbage can and you get rid of it. You click the little arrow here and you can see all of the different tools that are available. So for example, this is a horizontal ray. It's not a line. It doesn't go all the way across. It starts here. Let me make that active and point out this little toolbar that pops up. You can change the color. You can change if it's dashed or if it's solid. You can change the thickness all from right here. It's pretty straightforward and very useful. So if I click on that again, it goes to the last design. So just keep that in mind. But, you know, as you change it for whatever reason, it follows right along. There are all of the tools that you would expect. So Fibonacci retracement. Now, in my case, I have the Fibonacci retracements dialed down to 38.2, 50, and 61.8, being the most common ones you use. But when you start, if you go to settings, there'll be coordinates, there'll be visibility, and there'll be style. And you can see that it does, in fact, have the other ones available. So if I click on that, 23.6 appears, etc. I just happen to use the most common ones. You can change the coloring just like you can anything else in TradingView. If I right click and I remove one drawing, that's your drawing. Now notice as I click all of the indicators back on, I can remove 3 indicators, and there we go. If I go to indicators, I can click on favorites, and in this case, I happen to have moving average. Notice that it popped up over here, and it does have a default. It is at 9. I click it again, and then I click volume. So I've got 2 moving averages right here, EMAs, that are both 9. So I can go up here and click the settings, style, and I'm going to make it red, and I'm going to do an input of 50. And you can see how it changed. This one, I'm going to do the 200-day EMA, style of, make it more like a smoky gray. Click on that, and there we go. You can change the colors and everything else of the volume as well. So let's click on the chart with the right hand button, and let's do save as. And I'm just going to put test. So let me go through and go to the settings again in the symbol, and I'm just going to make a couple real quick changes that don't really matter. Okay, so you can see I've changed this. It's pretty ugly. Let's even do the background on the canvas. Let's do it solid green. There you go. Nice and ugly. Okay, so I've messed up my chart and I don't like the way it looks. So I just right click, go to chart template, go to test, and it goes right back to where I was. You can also go to chart template and trash this. Remove. It'll ask you if you want to do it. And then you just go to whichever one you want. In this case, main. So really the only difference between those two is I have a gradient here. Now, obviously, you're going to want to be able to read the market price. And it's right over here. And it's in US dollars by default, as far as Bitcoin is concerned. But I can change it to Cardano, for example. And it changes completely. Or, in the case of a Forex pair, dollar, Canadian dollar, notice how these lines are here, and these lines were done a couple days ago. So it does remember what you've done, assuming that you have an account. And you do eventually, even with a free setup, have to have an account, but that's okay. It keeps this memory for you. That's important. Also, I would note that the US dollar and the Canadian dollar pair has brought up Canadian and US information. But what if I want to know what the US dollar is doing against what's it worth in Argentine pesos? You can see that it has completely changed, even though in theory it is the dollar CAD chart. So that's kind of interesting that you can do that. You can click over here for log, Let me go ahead and go back to the Canadian dollar. So this is auto, it fits data, and this is logarithmic. It's not going to make a huge difference most of the time, but some people do prefer um, the standard size or the logarithmic trading measurement. The easiest way that I have found to mark up the chart, and let me get rid of the volume here, is the paintbrush tool. But you'll notice that there's a bunch of other things here too. So for example, you can click on the arrow and do that. Um, you can do the brush and you just hold down your button. There you go. You click off of it and it stays. There's obviously a text tool, which can be changed like anything else, etc. There's a ruler. So you have to hold down shift and it gives you an idea of the distance, the amount of candlesticks, etc. I'm going to go ahead and remove 6 drawings so that I'll get rid of all of that, including the trend lines. That's the one thing that you have to keep in mind, that when you do that, it will wipe out those horizontal lines. You can have a weak or a strong magnet, meaning like when you, okay, so for example, um, let's do a trend line. You can draw it manually, or for those who like the idea of more like MetaTrader does, sometimes, depending on what you're doing, you can have this magnet go directly to that. Not a big fan of that. It's just a personal preference. Most people aren't going to care. So you can see down here is the trading panel. I click paper trading and it opens up a paper trading account. I'm going to go back to a market that's actually live over the weekend. I am going to click with the right mouse button and I am going to go to trade and I am going to press the first thing, and the buy actually is a limit, so it's underneath it. Let me go ahead and get rid of that. So I cancel the order. But if I want to go back to trade, create new order, you can set up your order presets as you see. You can do a take profit. So let's say I think Bitcoin's going to 95,000 and the stop loss, I want the stop loss to be 2,500 ticks. You can make it a market or a stop, a limit, etc. Go ahead and change this again, 105. Stop loss, you can do it for ticks or the price itself. And so I'm bought. So it gives you all kinds of information here on the trade. You can click out of that. And then now you'll see what's going on with your order. Now, there are a lot of different ways to exit the order. I would point out that the arrow shows that you have entered. You can just simply click the X to close, or you can modify your position. Okay, so get out of that and go to history, and you can see all of the history that I've done um, of my trades, and you can see the history of realized profit, in this case of $20 buying Bitcoin. There is also a trading journal. Basically, it's just a written history of all the moves that you've made. So you can log out of paper trading and you're right back to where you once were. So you can go to the Pine editor if you are one to write your own programs. You can go to replay trading. This is a little bit more advanced, but you can click the bar replay. So it goes back to that point in time. You can see, and then you play it, and then it'll play bar by bar. You can change the speed. You can say, okay, I would have sold here because it looked like resistance, and you can do that move here, and it'll tell you how that would have turned out. In this case, you probably wouldn't have done well. So that is the bulk of what we see in TradingView. TradingView is a pretty amazing platform. And again, you can come over here and create a new list and all kinds of things to keep an eye on the market. Again, though, if you're trading through a broker, this amazing platform also can give you, like on the watch list, for example, if you don't have the ability to trade, I don't know, the UK 100, you can still watch it. It will allow you to see it. It just won't allow you to trade it. It's free to start. It does get a little bit pricey depending on how much you want to do with it, but there are multiple different levels, and you will have to take a look at it to decide for yourself what works for you.